Okay guys, let's grab some dumbbells for the next bunch of exercises. Now the other thing I want you guys to do is grab yourselves either a flat bench or a multi-fold mat to create some elevation for these exercises. We're going to work squats for this exercise with a single dumbbell so that the weight is on one side. So it's going to feel a little bit uneven, which is great because it's going to help you with a little bit of extra core control for this exercise. And just making sure that we're keeping the posture as upright as we can and just dropping down into that nice steady squat and lifting back up nice and slow. And then we're going to switch it up, switch hands and do the same squats, but your weight's going to come from the opposite side. Your turn to try this one. Starting with a nice wide base and parallel feet, we're going to go into some side squats for this exercise. So you can see I'm actually resting the dumbbell on my hip and it's pushing towards the side where I've got the dumbbell. So that's basically the only knee that's bending throughout this exercise. Once we finish with one side, we're going to just switch it up, put the dumbbell on your other hip and hit the other side as well. Your turn to try it. working a basic isometric squat for this one. So I'm just dropping down with my feet parallel at shoulder width and just trying to keep an upright upper body for this one. I've got the dumbbell pressed to the top of my chest and it's just remaining there for the duration of the set. Your turn to try this one. Weighted side knee strike for this exercise from 4 points position. So you can see what I've done with the dumbbell. I've locked it on the back of my knee where my plantar wrist is, and then it's just a matter of a squeeze to the outside, really working your outer glutes and your abductors and getting into that side knee raise. Now we're going to do this with one side for a set and then switch it up and do the other side as well. Your turn to try it. working a basic isometric squat for this one. So I'm just dropping down with my feet parallel at shoulder width and just trying to keep an upright upper body for this one. I've got the dumbbell pressed to the top of my chest and it's just remaining there for the duration of the set. Your turn to try this one. Dumbbell Zercher squat for this exercise. So I'm starting with my feet parallel at shoulder width, and you can see that I'm holding the dumbbell in that Zercher hold the same way as you would if it was a barbell. I'm going to drop down and make sure my elbows get to my quadricep, and then I'm going to lift straight back up. Make sure you sustain a neutral spine and controlled movement. Your turn to try this one. Okay, I'm going to use the tip of the bench for some dumbbell hips thrusters for this one. So we're going to place the dumbbell on your hip. We're going to start right at the bottom, so with your butt almost touching the floor, and then we're going to lift into what looks like a glutes bridge using the bench for that additional range. Push all the way up and then release again. Your turn. starting lying down on the floor in a prone position, we're going to make sure that we've got our knees and feet together and we're holding up the dumbbell with the arch of our foot. We're going to go into some leg curls and we're going to make sure that we're getting 90 degrees of action as far as the movement is concerned. Make sure you keep pressing your feet together to keep the dumbbell nicely secured. Your turn to try this one. Okay, so dropping down into what looks like a goblet squat for this one, and once I get down to the bottom, I'm just going to start putting some pulses in there. You can see the pulses are bringing me less than halfway up, so I'm basically focused on the bottom half of the squat, just making sure that I'm maintaining my parallel feet, knees are just above your toes, and just working through these pulses for the duration of the set. Your turn to try it. plyometric squats with dumbbells for this exercise. So you can see that I'm keeping my feet parallel, getting into a nice deep squat, and then when I'm jumping, I'm not landing flat back on my feet. I'm actually keeping that downward momentum going so that I'm not absorbing the pressure on my knees at all this way. All the way down into a deep squat, keeping that spine nice and neutral, and then working your way back up straight into the jump. Nice difficult one for you guys. Let's try it. With the front hand position, we're going to go into some parallel legs at shoulder width, and we're just going to work some calves raises from here. So just making sure that you're keeping a nice neutral spine, keeping the knees slightly bent to protect your back, and just pushing all the way up as far as the calves raise is concerned, and flattening back down as well. Your turn to try this one. This segment of the program is all about high intensity 30-second intervals. We'll pick up 2 exercises and train 3 lots of 30 seconds, alternating between exercises for a total of 3 minutes per set. Let's get straight into it. For this set, we're going to work some traditional burpees. So we're going to make sure we drop down, get that push up in, and then on your way back up, we're going to add the plyometric jump in there as well. Then after 30 seconds, we're just going to drop down into an isometric squat, and we're going to hold our position 30 seconds before going back into those burpees. Your turn to try this one.
For this set, we're going to combine some fast feet with some swimmer kicks. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off working the fast feet on the spot, try and keep the pace up as much as you can. And then we're going to drop down into that supine position with your head and shoulders lifted. And we're working some swimmer kicks or some scissor kicks, if you like. We're going to make sure that the knees are remaining nice and straight. And we're going to keep the pace up throughout this exercise. Your turn to try it. For this exercise, we're going to combine donkey kicks with mountain climbers. So we're going to donkey kick with the left side first, and then what we'll do is we'll change it up, work some donkey kicks with the right, just pushing straight up and really getting that glutes engagement. And then we're going to switch it up and work some mountain climbers from there. So maintaining that line from your shoulder all the way to your ankle, and then throwing those knees all the way to your chest. Your turn to try this one for yourself. A nice legs combination for this exercise, you guys. So we're working a bench get up. So it's a matter of just sitting down on the bench and then lifting up into what looks like a squat, but you're getting that support when you're seated on the bench down the bottom. And then what we're going to do is we're going to combine this with an isometric squat. So we're going to step forward a little bit so you're away from your bench. We're going to drop down into that squat position and we're just going to hold that pose for 30 seconds. We're going to alternate between these two exercises for the next 3 minutes. Your turn to try it. Well done for getting through your workout today, guys. Let's take a moment to stretch and cool our body back down now. Comment and let us know what you thought of today's workout, and remember to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest workouts.